Notifications have been sent.
Hello! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where in the world you are.
Topanga.
And that too. It is Wednesday, it is 3 o'clock London time, and this is our midweek musings. Thanks for joining us live. Those that are here already, we're going to say hello to some people. And then today we're going to bring on a special guest to talk about...
He's unique, he's different. That's
he is unique.
Special.
Yeah. So let's say hello to some people. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. Jerome, Tony Prodger, Mike H. He got notified. Ellie, hello. Doug and Rob Borsuck. Hello, hello.
There we go.
Good to see you all. So, and Carl G. Olson from hello from the soon-to-be locked down. Oh, are they locking down where you are?
Ooh.
That's have fun with that. Lockdowns suck. And I don't think they work. Anyway, they do a bit, maybe. Anyway, today we are going to not waste any time. We're going to bring on our special guest. He has a product coming out on Friday. It is called Webcam Advantage. And he's going to tell us about it and everything else involved with it. Here is Steve Mellor.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Steve. Good to see you.
Welcome.
Good to see you as well.
Thanks for joining us.
No, it's a pleasure.
So, I'm excited about Webcam Advantage because I have actually started going through it. I had some time yesterday and I went through a big chunk of it. And the front end really, I mean, I think your main thing is your observation is right. There are business people and people doing videos, and their videos look sucky compared to what teenagers are doing in their bedroom. Yeah. And basically, your product's shows people how, with a few tweaks, even with just their existing equipment, they don't have to necessarily buy. You might be advised to pick up one or two bits, but so yeah, I mean, fill us in, tell us more.
That's basically it, and
all right, good. That's it.
What you're looking at me through is not just a normal webcam. You know, I've gone to and in fact, I posted this in Society 11 that I've bought a new proper camera, which actually didn't cost too much. The whole setup cost me about 400 quid. So It's not actually too expensive when you consider that if you got a Logitech Brio, that's 200 quid.
Yes.
Right.
And actually, you could save a little bit of money if you didn't quite get the quality of camera that I've got, but you've got something sort of slightly similar. The whole point of Webcam Advantage, and I've been thinking this for ages, is that we're creating video and we're expecting people to buy that video or to buy courses made from us. And yet we're turning out stuff that looks awful.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you've got people who don't know how lighting works, so they get a massive window behind them, and of course that means that all you're seeing is something dark. If anyone's joined us on the IM Pub, you will know that there are all sorts of different video setups that people have got, and often you can't see somebody's face because it's far too dark. It's fine for a chat. It's not very good if you want to actually then sell that video as a product, or you want to use that as a sales letter. So Webcam Advantage is your first steps to solving that problem. And not only solving that problem, but I also go into the tools that I use in order to start streaming. Now I've got an upsell to this, which is called Streaming Masterclass, which goes even further into
It's
the whole point
massive.
of Streaming Masterclass is that by the end of that you will have a production, a full production house essentially at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips. So you'll be able to press a button and start recording, and press another button and flip to a different view, a different scene. You'll be able to make things move in and animate out and animate titles and things like that in lower thirds.
Nice.
But Webcam Advantage takes you through the first stages of that, and you need to know that stuff first.
Yes.
Which is, how do you get your room looking right? How do you, if you want to do green screen, how do you do green screen? Well, I advise people not to do green screen if they don't have to. Because of the enormous time sink it takes to set it up and de-rig it all the time. But yeah, so you're getting in this something where you can go from not knowing anything about video to getting a good quality video out there, which will compete with those 13-year-old kids in their mum's basement who are making videos on Twitch and making videos on YouTube. And what you don't realize, most people don't sort of think about, is that the quality that people are expecting from video is raising all the time. And the more that kids are coming up in the industry and creating better quality video, the more we either have to keep up or people are just going to feel like we're being left behind. And it's fine if you're somebody like Frank Kern, for example, who has a massive audience. And whatever it is he puts out, he's got a massive audience of people who will not only buy it, but will tell all of their friends about it, and that all their friends need to buy it as well. You haven't got that. I mean, most people haven't got that.
Right.
No.
And Frank Kern has famously said at one point, the quality of video doesn't matter. Look, I do it just on my phone. That's fair enough. You're not Frank Kern. You don't have that audience.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would say, even when Frank Kern makes a video on his phone, he has thought through a little bit about where he's standing and where he is in the frame and everything else.
Kind of, yeah.
And,
it is at least thought through.
Script.
He's been making video for a long time, and he kind of will have internalized a lot of this stuff. And I think a lot of people who do make video will start to internalize this as well. But there is a thing where if you don't put enough quality into the stuff that you're putting out, people are going to value your content less. And if people don't know who you are to begin with, then that's not necessarily a good thing. So again, if you go through Webcam Advantage, you get really good quality video out of the kit that you've already got, and you get the knowledge to be able to upgrade that kit later on, so that, you know, if you suddenly go, I want to do this better, you'll have the knowledge of which tools you should get and what to avoid as well. Because there's a lot of people out there who'll say, well, you need the latest camera with 4K or 8K or 6K. And the reality is, actually, you don't. I mean, I'm on a 1080p camera. I film in 1080p all the time. It doesn't stop me putting out 4K videos there.
Right. And the thing, that's the biggest thing with Webcam Advantage is just, for me, is just that you can go, although you go into, here's some equipment you might want to consider, and you talk about your preferences. With people just following the things on composition and lighting can immediately change their thing just with stuff they got lying around at home. I mean, you might have to go and rob a lamp out your bedroom and things like that temporarily to start with, to get, you know, the better lighting behind you and things. I think that's something I'm going to be doing. I'm actually working out a complete change to this room now, actually, as a result of watching your damn videos. Because I've got this room dedicated as an office. I can do what I like in it, and yet I just get stuck in my ways and go, I'm sat here and I'm doing this, and I think, oh no, I can make better use of this space. So I'm it's going to become far more of a studio.
And it's amazing how just a few changes actually will change the way that people think about the way that you're putting out video in the first place. You know, I noticed that Doug Halfpenny said the streaming masterclass is the bomb. Doug has been through it, as has Tom, I know, and when and where and pricing. Well, at the moment, $29, launching to no, it's Wednesday, isn't it? Launching Friday, 10 a.m. EST. I will put a post up in Society 11 with, of course, a Society 11 discount, and like I did last time, it's going to be all the way throughout the funnel. So if you want any of the upsells as well, you'll get that.
Can I just say, I think Webcam Advantage, that's the must-have. That's all your basics. The huge value, that first upsell, and what's, I know you're going to do the discount because what's the pricing on the upsell on the first one?
I can't remember.
Okay.
67.
67.
So you would get that for 33 plus 15 be 47 for both of them.
It's an insane deal. Let me tell you, like I say, I started going through, I've got lots more to go through. This is like Streaming Masters is like, this is a proper in-depth, everything's covered. This, I can genuinely see you putting this out later on as a flagship product at $400-500 easily, if not more.
I think when you add in the stuff that's in Video Pro Masterclass, the thing that I then want to, and we didn't talk about that at all. Video Pro Masterclass is when you want to move away from this, and then you want to sort of start to record an interview or record a podcast somewhere else. That's the stuff that's going to be in here. I did a whole thing in Video Pro Masterclass on how to use Canva of all things to do sales letters or that kind of
Canva.
I was so impressed with it. I've just got the pro version of it because I've just been so impressed with it. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, there is a couple of things we will mention later on about Canva as part of our musings, because I've been using Canva a lot recently. And really, just every time I go in, they've added more features, and there is one that might talk about later. So,
question: video changes all the time. Techniques, technology, software. Where do we see your class in a year?
Well, it should still be relevant in a year because the stuff that I'm teaching in this, not only that, the basics of it, teaching lighting hasn't changed for decades. What I'm teaching is essentially 3-point lighting, which is what I've got here. Now, the setup that I've got here, I've got a light that's over there. I've got a light that's coming off that way, which is giving me this, what they call a rim light or hair light. Sometimes I just don't have any hair to be able to do that with, and I've got a light at the back which is lighting up the room, which is basically just a practical, but so that's the 3 points. The 3-point lighting was developed originally in the late 1800s. So that hasn't changed.
This is the thing, though. You come from a directing background and a filmmaking background, a photography background, and really what you're doing is going, look, this is all the stuff they teach us in photography and film, but without all the bump you don't need, because you don't need to know. For the composition of doing webcam stuff, you need to understand some basic composition rules. You don't need to understand ISO settings and all those other stuff that you would have learned.
Again, a Video Pro Masterclass, which is more to do with actually setting a proper camera up. I go over the ISO settings, and the ISO setting is you turn it up until the picture looks good.
Yes.
That's all you need to know about this. But I will give you in that the shutter speed that you should be using. I'll tell you the aperture that you should be using. I'll explain what aperture is. So it's basic stuff, but if you don't know how to do it, then you need to have some idea because otherwise you'll buy a camera and go, well, what the hell am I doing with this now? So yeah, just giving you
I would say the biggest thing for members of Society Level, I'm going to tell you now, buy the front end and definitely buy upsell one. You can decide for yourself whether or not the other upsells are of interest, but I'm telling you now that those two things bundled together, it is literally everything you're going to need to do really good looking videos, whether you want to just do recordings, whether you want to stream live, whatever it is you want to do, you're going to get something out of that course. And if you get those two parts together, you've got so much content there and so much to be cracking on with and whatever else. And you will be putting out a far superior product. You can, and that's the other thing. Steve's videos, when you start them, even the little short intro ones, that just the fading and the animating and just the way they look and piece together, and all of this stuff is relatively simple to do. Yeah. Okay. Kurt, do you want to ask that question? Kurt put something in the private chat, but you can ask it as a.
Well, and I wanted to make sure Stephen was on board with before asking this question, and the reason being is because we talked about it prior, and you had talked about doing more trainings. Will those be added into the master class, or will that be another upsell? Because you
The
said you
idea is
had
that,
learned some
yeah,
more.
I'm launching these 3 products at the moment, and if you get these 3 products, you will be grandfathered into any changes that I make in the future. Like Andy said, I want these to be flagship products, so I want to sell this again and again and again. And I mean, I think the 3 products together, I know, if you're in outside the IM world and you're in business, that there are people who would pay thousands for that course of all these 3 products
Yes.
together. And that's kind of where I'm thinking of going with this for the long term. And that means that I want to keep adding to this and to keep it relevant and to update it with stuff. There is already for Webcam Advantage, there's another video that I want to make that'll get added in. For Streaming Masterclass, there's another 2 videos that I want to make. For the Video Pro Masterclass, there's about 5 different things. Video Pro Masterclass is the longest of these things with about 6 hours worth of content in it. And there's still more stuff that I want to add, and there's stuff that I want to refine and take out and change, because I want this to be the best product that it can be. And so if you buy all of this stuff now, essentially you're giving me the ability to be able to go and to add some more stuff into that. So you will get all of that stuff with whatever.
And yeah, you're a fraction of what it's going to end up selling for, and it's definitely worth every penny of a far higher price. And the other thing I would say, don't be put off by the overwhelm factor. When you hear in a course there's 6 hours of content, and the first thing I normally think is, I ain't got time to go for 6 hours of content. But the thing is this, the first part, the webcam bit, you can do that really quickly. They're all short videos. You follow through, you get all the information really concise. You go, move that to there, do that, get that right. I'm up and running. So you can do that and immediately be making better videos. And then you can work your way through the other bits, and you can add the things in. You don't have to have the full setup from day one. You don't have to go, right, I'm not going to stream until I've got the stream deck and a camera and a super lighting rig. And you don't have to wait. You
don't do that.
You go through the bit, you get started.
I didn't do that. There is a YouTuber called Robert something or other. I'm terrible with names, but he has said that you have to make 100 bad videos, and he's right. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Even with the right setup, no matter how good your first video is, you will always look back at it and think, I've looked back at some of my early stuff and gone, I can't believe I charged money for that.
Oh, I know.
I've been making videos and
good.
films and stuff for years. The first YouTube video I made for the photography channel that I've got, which was a couple of years ago now, I still look back on that and go, God, that's not very good, is it? Because you refine as you go on. But if you don't do it, if you don't actually get out there and do it, then you'll never make those steps, because there's some things you just can't teach. Roberto Blake, yes, Jerome Johnson is completely right. You'll never get those things if you don't go out there and do it. You can't teach this stuff. You have to learn it. You have to, go through the process of doing it to learn.
Yeah, it's like anything else, though, isn't it? It's like when you decide, I'm going to learn to write better sales copy. You study lots of copy, you read lots of books on it, and then you do it, and you do it over and over, and test and tweak and it's that. Because you have to learn what works for your marketplace and your audience and lots of other things that you can't teach in a book. Yeah. And the video thing's the same. What this is going to do is give you all the technical stuff that you probably can't be asked with otherwise. Simplify it down into into a form that you go, oh, actually, that's easy to do. And just
try to
it
make this kind of modular as well. So I know most people have just gone through the course, but actually you can dip in and out of it too.
Yes, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing.
If you've got equipment and you've gone, well, I can't afford anything else at the moment, but I'll go and do the rest of the course. Do the rest of the course and use the equipment that you've already got. But then when you need to buy something, go back into the equipment thing. I very nearly didn't put equipment at the beginning of, because there's an equipment section on each course.
Right. And you put that at the start. Yeah.
Yeah. But I very nearly didn't do it. But then I realized actually people are going to want to ask these questions, and they're going to want to figure out, do I need to buy a webcam? And if they go to the wrong place, they'll get the wrong answer. And in photography, there are a lot of people who say this all the time. Your gear doesn't really matter as long as you can use it. And 90% of the problem with people using their webcams is they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to light properly, you know.
I would say with confidence that anyone that gets the front end product and goes through it, no matter what your setup is at the moment, even if you don't buy any more equipment, you are going to get tips in there that will improve your video. Now, it might not be superb because of the constraints of that equipment, but you're just altering the angle of the camera, the lighting, and a couple of other things. And suddenly this poor equipment is getting a half decent result, something that you can at least be proud to put out there to begin with until you can afford to buy the equipment you need.
Right.
It's one thing we don't realize because we don't see it on television. We don't see it in films. The way that we see people in real life, if we're in a room and we've got a light above us, our brain kind of understands that there is light in a room, and the way that it's bouncing, that means that this bit of somebody's face should be brighter, even though it isn't. And so it kind of tricks us into thinking that it is. But as soon as you start to record that, as soon as you put it onto film, our brain doesn't have the experience of the ambient light in the room, and so it looks odd. And so when you see somebody who is sitting under a light, they just have these really dark faces, these massive shadows under the eyes and things like that. And it's this. Michael's saying, "Where's the link?" I'm
You
ready.
have to wait till Friday.
You have to wait till Friday.
Man. Friday.
Yeah. So that just changing those little things are going to make a massive difference to what you're doing.
Be careful of that sort of thing, though. Don't go pissing off your spouse and unnecessarily and whatever else.
But he's absolutely right. Accent lights are great if you can do it. This is technically, actually, that's technically a practical light, because it's something which is a light and it's emitting a light in the scene, and but having something in there which can draw people's attention. There's a thing when you're watching an interview or something like that, your eyes will jump around the screen, and if they jump away too much, you'll click off the interview. But if you can keep people's interest in the frame, they will come back to the interview.
Right.
It's an old TV trick.
So anyway, you're going to learn loads of this stuff in Steve's course. And this show today, we're going to be rebroadcasting to the Moneymakers group. We didn't set it up to schedule live, but we are going to rebroadcast it in there. So just for the benefit of the people who are watching a replay in the Moneymakers thing, this is coming out on Friday. If you will hear about it, no doubt, if you're on my list or Kurt's list, and we'll probably post about it in the Moneymakers group anyway. But seriously, if you're seriously going to get all this, you would be better off joining Society 11 and then claiming the discount that's coming with this on Friday, which will only be in the group. Just saying. Just saying. So we got... Are there any other upsells that we've missed, or is that everything?
No, there's 3 upsells. The first
Fantastic.
one is I need to sort my webcam out. The second one is I've sorted my webcam out. I want to turn this into a proper streaming setup so I can record on YouTube, so I can stream on Twitch or whatever. And the third one is I want to take this a stage further. The Video Pro Masterclass, you are learning skills that you can literally sell. And I know this because I have literally sold them. I used to make videos like that. There's 3 things that you really need to use to learn: a little bit about lighting, a little bit about audio, and a little bit about editing. And I'm so pleased with the editing bit in here, which I'm teaching you how to use DaVinci Resolve, which is a brilliant tool, Hollywood level production thing, and yet you can get a free version of it.
Wow.
And I'm showing you how to do the edits in there, because it's a little bit more complicated than a simple tool. But the stuff...
Does it work on a Mac?
Phenomenal. Mac, Linux, and Windows.
Nice.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom Clark. Good to see you. I'll say hello since he's there. Has anyone got any questions for Steve while we've got him here? Are there any questions you've got? Is there anything you want to know about? He's obviously not going to divulge all the course content for free, but is there anything you want to know? If you've got questions like, will it help?
Michael said, Video Hacker's Guide to Framing Shots and Camera Movement. There is some framing stuff in Webcam Advantage, and there is stuff about camera movement and about visual storytelling in Video Pro Masterclass. So, yeah, that's where you can get that from.
Excellent. What I should have done was I should have logged in, and I could have quickly shown people, which I might be able to do.
Okay, this is just my personal question.
Go ahead.
Why the blue light behind you?
People
Warm?
like it. Blue or
Is it
purple.
warm?
It's a YouTube thing. More than anything else, people have been using these accent lights on YouTube, and because I was making YouTube videos, I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll do the same thing, and it'll make my videos look more like those other videos, and that's
what it does is it makes you look warmer than everything else in the room.
There's color theory uses you can have a color wheel, and opposing colors will make the other color stand out. So if you look at a lot of sort of fantasy action films, you'll see they use orange and blue as opposing colors, and this is essentially doing the same thing. It's how do you handle lighting reflecting the presenter's glasses? Take your glasses off. And that's what they do on television. There's no quick fix around from it.
Or there's no lenses in their glasses.
Or there's no lenses in them. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but I can't read anything.
Angle lights, but it doesn't always work.
You can cut the reflection down a lot just with angles and things like that, which is what I try and do on here.
Taking the light source further away from you helps.
Yeah. The biggest reflection you get is by doing this stuff is off the screens as well. And so but you can adjust angles slightly. I mean, I'm getting a bit of glare up here at the moment, but normally when I'm looking at the camera, I've cut that down by shifting the angle a little bit. But this is inside Webcam Advantage. This is really nicely laid out, by the way. So this is the first part. This is what I've been through all of Webcam Advantage already. But just to show you guys the kind of things that are covered in here, equipment, the space, the camera position, the lighting, the settings, your sound, a bit on OBS in here as well. And then green screen and why you probably might want to rethink using green screen. It will certainly make you think about it. It won't put you off using green screen. Green screen has a place.
Yeah, you're right. It does make you think about it. There's some bonuses to come as well on that, which I'm editing this afternoon. So this has been a really weird launch. In the previous one, I had everything ready before I went. So the end of the launch is all, I'm contacting people. I'm going live on this date. I'm contacting more people. This one, I'm still working on the product and will be until probably finished tonight. It's...
I've done a little bit of streaming, as you know, mainly just for fun and whatever else. And I did set up OBS a while ago, and I struggled with it, and I got some okay-ish results. I will say, going through, I have watched when I came into this, I skipped equipment. I skipped that, and I jumped into the OBS stuff. Having watched there's an OBS video in the Webcam Advantage, the basics, and then this is the advantage. Having gone through that, I was going, oh, that's where I went wrong. So it will resolve issues for you. Automation over there. This is massive. This thing. I mean, this is a lot of content, and then on top of that, for those that go for it, the other OTO, which I know isn't available for us to look at yet, but that we know is huge because you've told us kind of what's in it. Like I say, I would recommend everyone pick up that and the first OTO, and then decide for yourselves on the second one how far you want to take it. But at the S11 price you're going to get offered, which is 50% off, we can say, can't we? Is it 50%?
50% off everything.
There we go. Off the whole funnel. And bear in mind, that's 50% off launch pricing. So it's already a bargain at launch pricing. You're then going to halve that. You're going to get all of this stuff for pennies on the dollar effectively, because later on this will become, I'm in no doubt this is going to become like a flagship thing. And I could see Streaming Masterclass easily selling for $497 and people buying it and raving about it. And I would imagine people would pay $1,000.
You can get the whole lot for $97.
That's insane. There you go.
and it will, like I said, it will still get added to. We've got a question down there. He said somebody who is only known as Facebook user.
Okay, yeah, someone hasn't. But
Robert
we'll put the rest of it.
Anderson. Robert Anderson.
I'm pretty impressed with my iPhone setup at 24 frames per second through the ATM Mini. Do you cover stuff like this? No, not really. I'm trying to get people who haven't used equipment at the moment to be able to use equipment, and it's sort of falling outside of the scope of that at the moment. It might be something that I'd cover in the future. I mean, at the moment, the webcam that I'm using right now isn't a webcam; it's a Sony A5100, and I've not done anything about how you would set that up either. But it's something that actually people might want to start thinking about, because for not very much money or for a small investment, you can get a camera that makes you look 10 times better if you've done everything else first.
Right.
So, this is about getting people's videos looking better to start off with.
Having said that, for people that have not got cameras, you do cover how to use your iPhone as a camera for doing this sort of work. So there is things like that covered. It's just, it depends how if you are already quite advanced with streaming. I mean, I don't know. This is the thing. I've done a lot of video, but I learned loads from the basic course. I've gone, I can do that. I can fix that. That's how you do that. So, I mean, it's like you're always going to get stuff that you've not thought of or overthought or skipped by or whatever. I will say this: if you're using an iPhone and whatever else, just going through this, I would be confident, unless you are a really experienced video guy, streamer, and whatever else, I would be confident that the techniques on composition and lighting would improve your iPhone footage by tenfold anyway.
Oh, they do. They really do.
So,
and the things, and again, I still rely on my iPhone to do stuff. I still rely on my iPhone to shoot B-roll because it shoots a much faster frame rate than any DSLR camera without spending an absolute fortune, and most dedicated movie cameras as well. So,
Volker says if there's a camera that makes him look 10 times better, he's all over it like a rat. Yeah, Volker, it's not a miracle worker, mate. It's
called Face Rig. You can get it on Steam.
There you go. So look out on Friday for Steve's launch. And let's all give Steve some love and thank him for being here and sharing with us about his product. It's a bargain for Society 11 members. Thanks for being here, Steve.
It's a pleasure. Anytime.
That is our live today. I will do the Canva stuff on Friday. That'll give us some more stuff to talk about on Friday. But I will say this, if you haven't noticed it, in Canva, a new feature has appeared, which is lets you import PDF files and then edit and manipulate them. And it's really, really good. It's still in beta, but they've given access, and a box pops up and asks you to rank how well it's done. And I have reported back on a few things that it's got wrong, and they're keen to fix that sort of thing. So but already, just as a beta feature, very, very good. Recommend you check it out. I'll talk more about that on Friday. Tom Clark says, good luck with your launch. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Rob Boston, let's put some of these love things up on the screen. We will see you guys back here on Friday for our Friday Live, which should be at the normal time. Until then, I hope you have a good rest of your week. Thanks for joining us. Look out for Steve's launch on Friday and jump on it. The special will be posted inside Society 11, probably just after it launches or something like that.
Probably just after the Friday Live, because it goes live at 10 a.m. So
perfect. There we go. So we'll remind you on Friday as well. Okay, that's it. Thanks ever so much for being here. We will see you all next time.